We begin tonight with a shutdown of oyster harvesting in one area of Galveston Bay.
The Texas Department of State Health Services reported people getting sick after eating oysters from TX1 in the southeastern part of the bay. Brandon Schaff spoke with DSHS today and is here with more in tonight's top story. Brandon?
Hey, good evening, Leslie and Mike. And DSHS officials tell me tonight that reports say that dozens were affected with various gastrointestinal illnesses, and 3 tested positive for norovirus, a concern with oysters harvested from Canada back in April. Local oyster businesses say that they're taking action to keep customers safe.
It reinforces our decision to have our farm. I mean, we're really happy with the waters we're growing them in and the flavors that's coming out of it, and it makes us more versatile when certain supply streams get shut down.
Water Street Restaurants president Richard Lomax said his business is working with vendors to make sure that none of their oysters are from TX1 in Galveston Bay. They've already transitioned 10 to 20% of their 750,000 oysters served annually to local farms, a trend he said is coming across the industry.
And I think we're already at that point. The wild oysters are getting as expensive as the farmed oysters because of the low supply and events like these. So I think it's going to happen very quickly.
Water Street Oyster Bar has their own farm in Copano Bay. Lomax said that allows them to harvest year-round while holding themselves to the same safety standards they would harvesting wild oysters. He said that's why people can feel safe eating their oysters, despite infected ones in Galveston Bay.
40 plus cases of gastrointestinal illness, kind of the things you would think of, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal cramping, fever, chills, those kinds of things. And all those folks had one thing in common. They had eaten oysters from this particular part of Galveston Bay.
Spokesperson Chris Van Dusen says DSHS is evaluating the TX1 area of Galveston Bay for contaminants. They issued a recall for oysters harvested from there as of November 17th and recommend throwing out all oysters harvested since then. He said the coastal bend should not be affected.
It does seem to be centered, at least as far as we know now, on Galveston Bay and these particular parts of Galveston Bay. And so there's not a concern for other types of fish or shellfish, and not a concern for other shellfish that have been harvested from other parts of Texas.
DSHS says that they are working with local health departments to test those reported sick so far, and they ask that anyone who ate oysters and are feeling sick to tell their doctor as soon as possible so they can determine the cause. Leslie, Mike, back to you.
All right, Brandon, thank you.